Hey, before we get started, I want to talk about some bad actors in our industry. These actors are disguising themselves as financial advisors, and they're really just financial salespeople, and they're trying to sell annuities. Annuities are products generated by insurance companies, which are really good for the insurance company to sell, and are really good for the advisor or salesperson to sell to you, but it's not that great for you. We have a white paper on our website, Buyer Beware, at the very bottom of the website. Put in your email, and we'll send it to you on why you should stay away from these annuities. Thanks for listening. I am here today with Orrin Checkmate Hudson. Hey, Orrin.
Hey, Casey.
Orrin, you are, there's a couple of firsts here. You are the first one to be interviewed in our new studio here, which is not quite done yet. Countertops and furniture are on a major back order these days. You are the first community spotlight to be invited back twice. And you are the second person to ever be interviewed twice on our program. So that just tells you what we think about you and your organization. But let's actually start there, Orrin, because we have a lot of new listeners now compared to the last time we talked. So let's talk a little bit about besomeone.org and how you are using chess to help young people make better decisions.
Well, we're using chess to teach young people how to navigate the complexities of life. Don't do the first thing that pops in your head. Your first crack could be a whack, and you can't take it back, so think before you act. Your first crack at anything is never your best. So we're teaching 6 magic words. Take time to think things through. And
that's so true with life, especially, I think, with young brains. We all want to tend to overreact or maybe even underreact in some cases. How does the game of chess, how do you incorporate that into teaching chess?
Well, you got to teach young people that you got to think, to move ahead, you got to think ahead. You got to have patience. You got to respect your opponent moves. You got to be mindful of what's really going on, and you got to protect what matters. That's what you do. Wealth management, protecting what matters. You got to think long term. You got a beginning, you got a middle game, and you have an end game. You got to begin with the end in mind and say, you know what do I need to do now so that I can prepare for the end game?
So your journey to this point is very interesting to me. So you're in the military.
I'm in the military.
You grew up in Birmingham. Now, where does chess come into all that?
Well, I was in high school. I was a gang member in my teens. I was about 13 years old, making bad choices. This teacher pulled me to the side and said, listen, I'm going to teach you how to think for yourself. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to teach you chess. I said, I'm a checker guru. He said, checkers, you're using half of the board. He said, chess, you're using the entire board. He said, checkers, there's no females on the checkerboard. He said, in chess, the female is the most powerful piece on the board. I said, let's get on with the classes.
That's great. And then you progressed into with a championship in Birmingham?
Yeah, I was the first African-American to be in the reader, which was the Alabama State champion. But James Edge gave me a winning edge because I was making bad choices, hanging with people that was doing bad things, and I was basically following a follower. And he said, I'm going to teach you how to think for yourself. So chess gave me the tools and strategies to think for myself, because when these guys said breaking this, do it, steal this, do it, I was just basically following a follower. But what Mr. Edge sat me down and said, listen, I'm going to teach you how to think for yourself. Make sure what you do is a product of your own conclusion. Don't just follow the follower, be a leader. And so I'm living my dream because Mr. Edge believed in me until my belief kicked in.
That's the powerful thing about teachers. That they probably don't get as much credit for is how many people that they affect in so many different ways. For me, it was a professor in college that said, hey, you need to try this career track, and something I hadn't really thought about. And you just never know. But they're certainly in position to make help all of us make better decisions. So you became a state trooper.
State trooper.
And then Be Someone came out of that. Is that?
Be Someone. Then I had a company. I was a small business owner, had a Hudson Auto Sales. But the turning point that made me start Be Someone was 7 people were shot in a robbery in Queens, New York for $2,000. And I said to myself, bad things continue to happen when concerned people fail to make boss moves. I made a boss move and started Be Someone to teach young people brains before bullets. Think it out, don't shoot it out. The only way to fight is to use your head. So I'm on a mission to show people that you can make better choices if you think before you move and do no harm.
Tell me about some of the kids you've seen in the program, because you've been doing this for how many years now?
I've been doing it 21 years. And I've been blessed. I've never seen a child that's been in my program on the news, because I'm teaching young people to be givers. If you give, you win. If you take, you lose. The jail is filled with people who are trying to take. So I'm just teaching people to be a giver, serve people, give people more value than they give you. And if you give, the person who gives the competition beats the competition. Just be a giver and serve people. You will win every time.
And do you keep track of your alumni? I mean, 21 years, that means you've probably got somebody who's nearly 40 out there that went through your program.
Yeah, I've had some students. I was shocked. I've been to some out to eat, and people go, "Hey, I still know what you taught me 21 years ago." And they'll do my rap song or do something. I'm like, wow. Yeah, so I'm blessed, and I feel so excited because there are a lot of kids out there that I train that will change the world, because I'm teaching them things that a lot of people don't know, how to recognize patterns. Pattern recognition is the key to success in all fields. Once you know the pattern, you can plan, you can prepare, you can position, you can predict, you know what's coming next. 2, 4, 6, 8, that's a pattern. 280 days to have a pattern. That's 280 days to have a baby, that's a pattern. So once you know the pattern, you can predict the due date, you can predict what's happening. Success is predictable, and so is failure. If you want to be successful, be a giver, serve people, add value, do more than you're paid for, and you will win every time.
That's great advice. That's something that seems to escape people at times. And it's not black and white. It's just it's become culture to be takers for some reason.
Yeah, people don't understand, because success is a paradox. It's the opposite of what you think. Let me give you an example. When I was coming over here this morning, I normally go a certain way, but the computer said, listen, don't go that way. It's traffic backed out. Go the long way. So it made me go the long way, but it was faster. So sometimes you got to do the opposite of what you think, because success is a paradox. A friend of mine, Magnus Carlsen, won $1 million in New York in a chess tournament by doing something bizarre, crazy. Everybody in the audience thought it was crazy. He gave his queen away for free. He set it on an empty square. The guy could take it with his king or pawn. Either way, the game's over. He wins. He wins the $1 million. So sometimes the winning move looks like a bad move. I was like, and I started to argue with the computer. The computer said, go this way. And I'm like, you got to be crazy. And it said, it's traffic the other way. And so I went the opposite way. So sometimes in life, you got to do the opposite what you think, because success is a paradox, is the opposite what you think. You say, if I give, I lose. No, you give, you win. And you win in a big way, because it comes back multiplied.
Well, you're doing exactly what your teacher did for you. For
exactly.
Other people.
And I asked him, I said, why did you buy me a chess book? Why did you help me? He said, listen, I got in trouble when I was your age, and I'm just paying it forward.
Yeah.
And so I owe my life to James Edge, a white teacher in an all-black high school, who believed in me and actually got in a little trouble helping me, because he would help me when and the principal came in. Oh, what are you doing? We don't have time for games. And he said, this is more than a game.
Right.
And so I'm living my dream, because he stood by me, even though he got in a little trouble, but we made it through.
Well, you're very genuine in your mission, and you are clearly out helping other people. I met you face to face many months ago for the first time, but the first time I heard you was an interview. I was driving to the airport at 5:30 in the morning, and I was in not my car, and I was flipping through some local channels, which I hadn't listened to anything that wasn't satellite based in over a decade, and and I heard you being interviewed. And I can't even tell you what station it was because I don't know the Atlanta stations that well. But I said, man, this guy's real. And I think I sent you $500 right from the airport.
You sent me $500. Yeah, I was like, wow, this dude was awesome. Yeah, I was like,
and then I got to my destination, and we ended up talking on the phone, and we invited you to come down here, and I feel like that we are. We're not doing your work, but we're supporting your work,
and it's making a difference because you're gonna someday run across some kids that I train, and if somebody trying to mess with you, they're gonna stop it because we being a force for good. A body in motion stays in motion until acted on by an outside force. There are a lot of bad forces going on, and we're stopping that. We're saying, listen, nope. We're not doing that. We're going to do right. And sometimes I say things that are controversial. Some people don't agree with what I say because I have a law enforcement background, but I'm keeping it real. You got to look yourself in the mirror and keep it real.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We get energized every week seeing more and more downloads, and we really enjoy sharing with you tips and techniques on how we do financial planning, our thoughts on markets and current events. If you'd like to see more, we also have started a YouTube channel under Wiser Wealth Management. On this channel, we have a 5 and 20 every week where we talk about 5 topics over a 20-minute period. I also repost our podcast there as well as our weekly blogs. You can go to that channel, Wiser Wealth Management. Be sure to subscribe. Also, if you have a moment, however you're listening to this podcast, give us a like. Thanks. You know, it's interesting to me how polarized the world has become since you and I sat down maybe about a year ago or so. What are you doing in the community right now to help with some of this?
Well, I'm doing a stop the violence and how to deal with law enforcement. If you get interaction with law enforcement, I'm teaching you how to be cool, how to be calm, how to be collected, how to be respectful, because a lot of times we can create our own demise by our demeanor. Attitude is everything. Just keep a positive attitude, stay positive, do what you're told, and we'll fight in the court system. Do not try to fight your case on the side of the road. I cannot help you if you're dead.
What do you think? What do you think is happening with young people today? Do you think that the recent events have polarized things to the point where they feel like they have rights maybe that they don't necessarily have, or what do you think what's the common response right now to
I think they have what we call an anxiety disorder. So sometimes they say, you know what, I got to fight my way out of this, and so we just got to get educated. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. But directly under that statement in the Bible, it said, because my people have rejected the knowledge. So I'm doing a workshop on May 22nd, teaching young people how to deal with and how to make good choices, because at the end of the day, it's about knowledge. Mm-hmm. And you just need to come home alive. That's your number one goal. I need you to come home alive. It's not about arguing. It's about being nice, polite, respectful, and come home alive. And that's what we're trying to teach young people, trying to give them some education, make sure that you're not making anything to make the officer nervous, respect the officer, do what you're told. We'll deal with the rest later. And
you being a 7-year officer, you have some knowledge of that. Are you bringing anybody else in? Yeah, I'm bringing in a couple of judges, invited, a law professor, the sheriff, Medley Maddox for DeKalb County. She's going to be on the call. So we just want to give people some tools and techniques how to deal with law enforcement, how to be cool, how to be calm, how to be collected, because sometimes we can create our own problem. That what I feel the most has come to pass. Sometimes we can create these scenarios in our head and create disaster based on what we do. So attitude is everything. You said earlier that there are some bad cops. We know this, but the percentage is pretty low. The percentage is pretty low, but you can turn a bad cop into a good cop by you being nice. If you smile at someone, they will smile back. Right.
Yeah, just say, officer, thank you for pulling me over. Thank you for your service. Please forgive me for anything I may have done. I apologize in advance. I apologize. And say something like, one of my students said, Coach, I used what you said, and the officer laughed and let me go. So sometimes the attitude toward others determine your attitude toward you.
Yeah, that's right.
If you be kind, there was a guy, he was about to rape this woman. And she told the guy, stay here and protect me. And he stood there and started crying. She said, why are you crying? He said, I was going to rape you, but when you said that, I couldn't do it. So sometimes we can diffuse a situation. So I'm teaching people how to be a force for good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we've got the normal chess matches going.
I got chess matches on Tuesdays and Thursdays for senior citizens. And on Saturdays, I teach the young people, and we do chess tournaments.
But tell me about the senior citizens a little bit. What's the idea behind that?
Senior citizens,
because they're probably not. They're probably making the right decisions.
They're making good moves, but we want to keep chess allows you to use both sides of the brain, and it fights off dementia and Alzheimer's. And so we're keeping them active, keeping them fluent and flow. Everything is about blood flow, and chess gets blood flowing to the brain. And we're teaching people how to be active for the adults, and for the young people, we're teaching them how to navigate the complexities of life, how to think things through. Is this true? Is this honest? Is this the best move I can make? Make your next move your best move. Get your head up. Get your pants up. Get your grades up. And the big one, never give up. Your mind is a pearl. You can change the world. All moves are valid. All dreams are valid. So make that move.
That's awesome. All right, so we've got chess for the kids on Saturdays. We've got senior citizens during the weekday, and you're doing all this through Zoom.
You're doing it through Zoom, and I enjoy it. But I'll be glad when I can bring my life-size chessboard back out, because I got a chessboard taller than you. So, awesome. And I'm ordering a glow-in-the-dark chessboard where we can do chess at night.
Okay.
Glow-in-the-dark chessboard. Yeah. So I'm always trying to be creative to make learning fun and let people know that we all are one. When I was a state trooper, I had the blue light, I had the badge, I had the bulletproof vest, but everybody I stopped, I treated them like the most important person in the world. We all are one.
Right.
And if I can write you a ticket and make you smile at the same time, then I won. Mr. Jones, I got you on radar 109. The judge want me to pound your car. She want to see you. I'm going to stop her from seeing you because I already know what she going to do. So I'm going to save you about 10 grand.
Right.
You ain't going to have no lawyer. I'm going to bump your speed down and let you mail a check in. If I save you 10 grand, is that fair? Oh, man, thank you. He's signing a ticket and he's happy. The guy said, oh, officer, he said, man, you know what? I used to hate black people, but not anymore. I'm changing the world. I'm taking people. He said, man, I used to be a part of the Ku Klux Klan. He said, you know what? They got it wrong. I said, what do you mean? He said, because you having mercy on me. I said, you are me. We all are one.
Right.
When you connected, I wrote Barack Obama an open letter, and I said, Barack Obama, I'm not my brother's keeper. I am my brother. We all are connected. We all are one.
What you've got some challenges. One is obviously today to do all this via Zoom. There's certainly equipment that's needed for that.
I definitely need some equipment. I'm somewhat of an 8-track man. I was talking to your assistant, and I was telling her I really got to figure out a way to teach on Zoom in a better way, because I have my laptop and I'm having to move it around, and I'm doing it the ghetto style. I'm an 8-track man, so I'm always looking for volunteers, sponsors, GoFundMe, support, anything that can help be someone. Put together a dream team. I want to put together a dream team, and I want to get a tour bus where I can go from city to city with a chessboard and a classroom on board, where they can come on the tour bus and I can really make a difference. I was born to do this. I get a kick out of teaching young people to think.
The last time we met, you said one of your long-term goals was to be able to help 1 million kids.
1 million kids. I've trained about 88,000, so 1 million is my goal. But I just need more people to support this effort. What we're doing has your name on it.
Well, you have a GoFundMe. We're going to post that on our video here. Also, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, it'll be posted on our YouTube page, Wiser Wealth Management. You can get the link there. Also, probably be able to put that into a blog or something. Somebody will figure out how to get the link
That's
to
awesome.
people. But the GoFundMe, your goal right now is just to raise $20,000 to be able to help with cameras and classroom and
Get my
education.
classroom organized, help more kids, teach young people to be givers. Be a force for good. Teach people, you know what? You can be a force for good. You can do the right thing. Be a giver, not a taker. The jails are filled with people who are trying to take. You can't get arrested for giving. You only can get arrested for taking.
Right.
Do no harm.
Well, we checked before we came on air here, Orrin, and you had $1,275 raised for that $20,000, and we really need to speed that up. So what we're going to do to get us started is a match. So I want to do a match of $3,000.
Oh.
So we'll do a match of $3,000. So anybody listening to this on our YouTube channel or our podcast channel, once you see that number reach $4,275, we'll add another $3,000 to it to get us sped up. And I'm sure we have some various generous listeners that might even be willing to come in and match with us. So we'll see how that progresses. But we appreciate what you're doing. You remind me of my own grandfather. My own grandfather was living his life the way he wanted to live it, and then one day he decided that there was a better, higher calling for him, and he became a pastor. But he became a pastor not in a Baptist, Methodist, or a Episcopal church. He became an independent pastor, which means there's no pension, there's no health care. He went out to Paulding County where all there was a flashing stop sign and set up shop in an old liquor store where he converted it into a church. And I remember as a kid sleeping in their little farmhouse there, there'd be a knock on the squeaky screen door, and it'd be the police with some homeless person that had passed through town, because the Methodists and the Baptists and the Presbyterians wouldn't take any homeless people, but Charles Sims would. And we didn't go to church there a whole lot as kids, because there were a lot of tattoos and a lot of probably bad choices before they got to that point.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that was his calling, and you remind me a lot of him. It's what I call it unconditional love. They call it Christ-like love, where people talk about Christ and the love of Christ, but it's unconditional. He meets you wherever you are, and I feel like that's what you're doing. You're meeting these young kids wherever they are today. As long as they come to you, they get to you somehow, and then you're able to help them make better choices. And it's not I don't see it as a black-white thing. I understand that you're targeting your own community, and you should do that, but there's a lot of white people, and there's a lot of brown people that could be making better choices. And I think this is a universal call on your part to go and do this. And so I'm proud of you. I think you are a superhero, and we should be looking to you for more ideas on how to unify us and how to educate us. So thank you for your service.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. Like I said, we all are one. There's no blackness, no whiteness. It's we all are connected, and I cannot be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And everyone that I try to uplift and inspire everyone I meet everywhere I go.
Thank you for your time, Orrin. And again, people, go see the GoFundMe account, and let's help Orrin go reach his 1 million people.
Thank you.
Wiser Wealth Management Incorporated is a registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and/or tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.